Leawood's unique because a couple reasons. So one is you actually have to have a Johnson County contractor permit to do siding in Leawood. And so you have to go pull a permit, and to pull the permit, you have to have a residential contractor license. I would say maybe 10% of people that do siding there actually have a permit, and that's a big deal. So I actually had a homeowner once that I actually had to step in with. They hired a contractor from Missouri, probably a very good contractor, but didn't have a permit. They didn't try to get one. And there's so much work in Leawood that there were 2 remodels on the street. One was an addition, one was this remodel. Well, the city was just stopping by on another project, walked across the street and said, oh, we see you don't have a permit up, and they shut down the job. And like getting a residential permit takes legitimately months, not days, not hours, but months. And so this homeowner was stuck. And at some point they got me and called me and said, hey, we're halfway through a job. There's nothing worse probably as a contractor. And you're trying to, it's worse for the homeowner, don't get me wrong, but to try to take over midway through and make it work for the homeowner, and the other contractor did things that you'd never do, but you're trying to help them out and not have to do the whole house. And so one big thing to look for in Leawood is like, it's okay if you don't want to hire Fairway Exteriors, which you should. Make sure you hire a contractor that has a residential license that can actually pull a permit. And the city's going to come out and do an inspection, by the way. So you have to pull a permit, you got to schedule inspections, it's got to be done perfectly. If you fail inspection, now you're delayed a couple more days, and then you get some bad weather and it kind of snowballs. And so in Leawood, it's one of 3 or 4 places in the KC Metro. You must have the right licensing and you must pull a permit, otherwise you're in big trouble. When it comes to aesthetics, Leawood, kind of South Leawood, homes are much newer. And so there, it's more about increased curb appeal. The homes look dated, a lot of Johnson County beige and brown, and the homeowner's getting a painting quote saying, oh geez, it's $20,000 to repaint. I wonder what it costs to get brand new siding versus me kind of getting on the hamster wheel and always repainting. In Old Leawood, it's a little different. These houses were built in the 40s, 50s, 60s. They need like a lot of TLC. And so there's a lot of contractors that do an okay job at houses built in the 80s, 90s. It's so much more detail and work on older homes, right? So the care that goes into them, the reframing, the rebuilding, the working with the existing structures, all the minute details, all the sizes they used back then, they don't have today. So we're constantly kind of retrofitting and making things work to fit the old style of house, which looks really great. A lot of big, nice ranches, and a lot of people doing a lot of curb appeal there. But really, it's about like knowing how to work with old homes. And so like, I mean, I guess I'm a glutton for pain and punishment, but like the bulk of my homes were built in the 50s and 60s. So a lot of the Prairie Village and Old Leawood and Brookside, a lot of my homeowners just live in homes that are 50, 60, 70 years old. And there's just so much more work that's required than a home built in kind of South Leawood. It's just much easier down there. So I will tell you, the one thing that comes up in South Leawood though is occasionally you get homeowners where the walls aren't level. So the builder in the 80s said, hey, how do I save $2,000? Well, anywhere the garage is, I won't put 2 layers of sheet, I'll only put 1. And so a lot of times I talk to homeowners, I'm like, hey, it's gonna cost $2,000 to make all your walls level. And like, what do you mean? I had 3 people out here. And you walk them out there and I get on a ladder and I show them how the walls are an inch or 2 difference and why there's so much wood around, why there's so many water issues. And a light bulb goes off in their head. I hear all the time homeowners like, I had no idea. The other guy said he didn't see that in the house. I'm like, well, let's walk outside, I'll show you. And it is eye-opening, something that happens, so.